That sounded awesome. Oh, I know you'll like the sound of that. Wow, this thing sounds good. And oh yes, I am. Welcome back for another video. Today we're going to dive a little deeper into the Helix. We're going to look at some of the presets they have in there, and we're going to look at some of them that I have programmed for myself. Today we're going to be running through the PA system out through the front instead of in the amps like in the introduction to the Helix. If you haven't seen that video, go back and check it out. So let's get on with it. Alright, we're going to play a little bit here. I am coming straight out of the front in the PA system in stereo, left and right. We're covering over about 35-40 foot of space here, so this thing shapes sound really well for us. It really does sound like you're sitting in a stadium when you're standing about where the camera is right now. It just gives a really nice even mix. It was simple to set up, and when you get into this thing, I'm telling you, you're going to like it. I'm also recording straight to the camera's microphone. There's nothing in between me and you, and this is the way your audience would hear music. If we can make it sound good on this camera, on that little bitty microphone, we can make it sound good anywhere, right? So it's a good test for us. Okay, let's do some playing. Alright, what I have you focused in on here, this is one of their presets. It's called the Brit Plexi Jump. And I am going to bring the mode up. So we're simply going to touch that mode switch there, and it's going to show us what all is running in this particular preset. This is their preset, and it's called the Brit Plexi Jump. This is showing your chain of effects. This is inputs here, and again you can run this in stereo or mono, and you can loop this thing down. If you build a chain of effects across here, you can actually change this input, bring it down into here, and go again. So completely functional. Whatever you want to put in here, you can put in here. This over here is your switch to go through each preset or effect. You can probably see that change, and I'll get my arm out of the way so you can see. Okay, and then right here this shows our outputs. We're running multiple, so we're actually, everything here in the front has output coming to it. That way if you're running several different amps, either you're going through the sends and returns, or straight into the front of the amp, or through the XLRs to the PA system. And again, you can chain these and bring it right down into here and put a completely different cabinet in there. So completely functional, whatever you choose to do. Let's go over here and I'll show you a little bit of the amp settings. You can adjust the drive, normal drive, you got bass, mid, trebles, just like an amp. And the knobs up here in the front absolutely feel like an amp when you're dialing this thing in. You can even adjust the sag, hum, and ripple of the tube sound. So they've really got in here, and this is again, you can push more buttons on this thing than you'd ever figure out. And each one of them is just easy to get to, and then if you like that setting, you just simply come over here to the save button. You can hit save, and now you've got a channel or a preset of your own, and you can put that any place in this board you want to. Let's go into another preset and see what they've got. Okay, this one is based on the small Fender Tweed, and again, it doesn't matter if you're playing country, jazz, rock, whatever you want, this thing's capable of reproducing the sound for you. Let's go to their amp here and see what we've got. So again, we get the drive, bass, mids, trebs, presence, channel volume. And again, you can actually, now on this, you can set, this is based on a 1 8-inch speaker. You can see that right there. You can actually pull in a 412 cab if you want to. You can pull in 2 cabinets, however you want to do that, but that is based on authentic tweed at an 8-inch speaker. Another cool thing they've done is you can get over here, let's see, right here on mic. If we clip on that, you can change what style of microphone would be miking this cabinet. That's in a SM57, or you can go through and find any mic. You can see it changing here, ribbon. You can come right back to dynamics. So the 57 for all of your early rock and roll, that was probably the mic of choice. Now, you can actually set the distance of how far this microphone is setting away from that speaker. That is another thing that affects tone as well as when you're recording. So, I mean, how intuitive is that? You can get in there and actually, for you guys who really know how to run this stuff, I know you're loving it. You can turn anything in here that you want on and off. Then again, if you've got a setting, you found the amp, you found the particular effects that you want, you can swap these around inside this chain, and when you've got it to where you like it, simply hit save and store it to your presets, name it. You can change the name and it'll all be right there for you. Let's try one more. Alright, what we have here is, this amp is based, they're calling it the PV Panama, but that's based on the 5150, Eddie Van Halen's original amp with PV. And again, we have all the settings. You can go right through it. You can turn up your gain any place you want to set it. And by the way, I mean the authentic amp over here, that thing will rip your head off. It's got gain for days, and this does that. I can absolutely turn the amp on over there and then turn this Helix on through the front and dial these things in to where you really can't tell the difference. So they also do let me clip on this thing. Right over here is all the different amps, and I'll scroll down through that slowly for us. And it just, the list goes on and on and on. And you can't, there's a lot of this stuff in here you can't purchase. I mean, it's just simply not available anymore. So for them to actually go through and get this set to where guys like us can touch it, play it, and say, wow, that sounds great, that's pretty cool. And again, you can even get into the some of the bass stuff that they have set in here. So if you're a bass player, they've got something in here that you'll like. All right, let's find us a clean one. All right, this preset is running on the Jazz 120. And let's see what kind of effects are running in here. So they have a gain knob, and another cool thing about this color, I set all of my gain distortion pedals is bright orange for me. So you can absolutely change the color of the button underneath here. And then once you start building, again, your presets, you can get everything set the same. That way when you're standing on stage, you've got all the stage lights running, you can see what you're actually grabbing. Let's see, that's, looks like a plate reverb. They've got the looper in here. And then this is something called, this is a delay called the Bucket Brigade. I'll have to try that. I haven't heard that one yet. Chorus, so a 70s chorus pedal. and this is showing in what part of the chain up here that they are in. And again, you can flip these around if you don't want it sitting in behind. Let's see, this is the red squeeze, they're calling it. If you don't want your delay sitting in front of that, you can move it back here behind it. Then again, if you like what you have, just simply click OK and you can store it and it's yours. One thing I want to mention here, this thing is capable of producing a tube tone so well that you can actually use your volume knob. I'm going to start off light here, turn that down and clean this amp up. You can play clean now, turn it down just a little bit more, so you have control over it. So that says a lot about the unit to be able to actually control your guitar. I mean, now your volume knob has meaning. You can grab any of these tube amps back here behind me and do the same thing. You know, clean a guitar up right now, you don't always have to be back there stepping on the pedals. There's a lot of control you can use right here on your volume knob. Okay, so the fact that this solid state digital floor processor can do that for us, that's unique. Alright, I'm going to show you how easy it is to navigate between the preset channels. We are currently setting in the factory number 1. They have 2 different channels for themselves, but you simply grab scroll knob over here. We're now over and down into factory 2, and mine is in user 1. Press down on the button and that brings you up. This is some of the different amps that I have set up in here. Let's see. The Lagrange amp is a good tone. Scroll up here a little bit. Anybody named Joe has to have Joe Dirt and then Joe Clean. Those two both sound good too. Right. Let's click on this. The dual Marshall stacks. All right. My son programmed this for me, and he pretty much filled up the entire screen. But 2 amps running simultaneously, doing identical, and he did this simply by cutting and pasting. You can cut and paste with this. So if you find an effect any place in this unit that you like, you can copy it, bring it down to whatever channel you want to store it to, and then paste it, and it'll go right in there for you. So let's see what amps we're running here. This is the bottom one is the PV Panama, and the top one is the Brit 2204. Both of them set slightly different. Cabinets, 412 1960 T75s. The cabinets are all the same. I will bet you the delays are all the same. Chorus pedals, and again, we can touch our mode here We're selected there, and touch it and it'll bring up everything that you have programmed in there. Simple delay, my chorus, vintage delay, tube screamer for the bottom amp. So you can simply turn them on and off. If you want to run all the way across, let's turn, let's say, both the tube screamers on. So now we have both tube screamers running. You can shut them off, and again, if you touch the side of the button with your foot, it brings it up. If you want more gain, more level, or whatever on the fly, you can just simply reach down, turn it up a little bit as you're playing, and keep on moving. So that preset there sounds as big as the world. Okay, and then when we want to close out of that, just hit your mode button again, and it brings you right back to all your individual settings, and you can go through. And another one I love is this plexi. Now, one thing I did is I put the wall pedal here in the front, and let me get that in there. Okay, and what I did is I took the heel pitch and the toe pitch and tuned it down 1. It goes from 1 to 100, and that actually allows me to tune down a half step by simply hitting the button. So I turn it off, I'm in a standard pitch. If I hit the button, then due to where the I saved the heel and toe pitch, now I'm tuned down a half step. Great for, I mean, just simply on the fly, hit the button, and you're down to 430. That works really well. I think this new patch that they just released, they're actually going to have a half step tune button in there for us. If you had a small venue you was playing, and 2 small amps like that to be able to run stereo along with that Helix, and you're going to have a pretty good jam. Unbelievable. Alright guys, I mean, you gotta admit that sounded pretty good, right? So, this will be the second part of the review of the Helix. Again, versatile. I think you'd enjoy it. I know I should most certainly enjoy mine. So, I want to thank you for watching, and I really do hope this is helping you out in some way. And I will see you on the next video.